Hello everyone. So this is a time-lapse video of our concrete pour, and pretty cool to watch this. Again, there's a lot of help. There's a lot of moving parts. Concrete goes pretty quick, so really cool. I'll get this playing here and I'll do a little commentating. So back up a little bit, I'm sorry. Truck showed up about 8:30 in the morning, right on time. First truck we had was a conveyor. We needed this in order to reach the back corner of the house because this site here was not accessible to drive around just due to the hill. So this worked out really well. The conveyor operator, he was great. We used custom mixed concrete out of Elmira. They did a fantastic job. They were on time. They were polite, helpful, and just very successful with them. The conveyor works really nice, folks, for the radiant tubing. The less traffic you can have on that, the better. We got a staple gun to staple down the radiant tubing to the foam, and then we put the remesh on top, which strengthens the concrete as well as kind of distributes the weight when people are on it a little bit. And I don't know, it just protects the tubing a little bit. It's not meant for that. It's meant for strengthening the concrete, but it worked out. So as you can see here, I'm doing a little backfilling with the skid steer. We had a little bit of a blowout here. There's a couple extra forms, and I just ran out of time, folks. I was trying to get the bank run around here before these trucks showed up, and last few days were extremely busy. I guess I should have worked at night there more to get it done, but as you can see, these guys are laying it in here. They filled the haunch, and what they did was they ran a strip down the middle that was as wide as a power trowel. They got an elevation, and then they fill in and they start screeding in one direction. And they strategically do this to miss all the pipes coming up through the concrete. And in the background right there is a laser. And so what they do, and I'll show this when they get to the next part of the pour, but they basically make a screed stop or a screed point in the middle of the slab, and they make it short enough so one part of their screed can go from the form to that, and they use that laser to make sure that middle portion is at the very perfect height, the same height as this form. Here they are filling this edge in. I was scrambling in the Bobcat trying to get some gravel against the forms just because of this first blowout. It was about a 2.5 inch push, and as you can see, we're kind of doing a little bit of scrambling here, but it all worked out. All right, they just got the bull float out. You want to get right on that right away as soon as you can before that concrete starts to harden up. That way you can get it pretty flat everywhere, pretty consistent. These guys were incredible. Again, these are some guys that I knew from my architecture days, and they did a fantastic job, and thanks to them. So here's where they did that pour right down the middle. See that? So that's less than the 16-foot power screed. And see him, he's setting that grade right there, and they're using the laser. And that laser will beep at them when it's at the perfect height. Using the screed, doing the same thing. They get that laser out there, and then they fill in. One guy's on the tube of the conveyor, he fills in. And then you can see Timmy there, he's got the power screed, and he's letting her rip right down through there. And you'll have a guy behind him puddling, getting the excess concrete out of his way, pushing a little up where it's low, and that keeps a nice, even screed. And that thing will vibrate real fast. It'll get the concrete underneath that tubing and make sure it's really consistent. There's no pockets anywhere or anything, and it makes a really nice surface that you can bull float. There again, they're putting another part to screed to. setting the elevation right there. See him with the laser? He's getting it just perfect, and then they'll do that at a couple spots. Around these pipes, they can't use that power screed. It's too wide, so they use a screed board. They use the laser, get it close, and then they bull float it. Matt back on the bull float. And we're filling her in there. Jason filling it in, and it's critical that this guy knows what he's doing, how much concrete's there. Otherwise, you got to pull a lot away with the screed. So every one of these jobs is extremely important. You need a team of guys that's worked together before and done a lot of concrete. Otherwise, you're going to be time is of the essence. You do not want to spend extra time moving concrete. You see him touching up around these penetrations, and then Timmy's pulling right off. Look at that, how nice that looks. Matt right behind him with the bull floating one side. And it's going to come right back down. See how he has the one edge of the screed, power screed over the edge of the form. So one tip when you do these forms, don't have anything sticking up over the top of the form, because that'll get in his way and it'll make it difficult to screed and keep everything level. A flatter concrete floor is a better product. I'm just filling in here. I'm holding the shovel pretty good. I don't know. I was nervous. After I saw this down here, this mess, and it happened a little bit over on this corner too, but I went through and I pounded all these stakes in extra far all the way around, added the bank run, especially the outside corners here. Pretty soon here, you're going to see them get the power trowels out, start working this in. You do not want to wait too long. I didn't want them to burn this too much, just because I want a little grit left to for my epoxy in this area. We're waiting on concrete trucks here. There was a little bit of a wait here that hurt us a little bit on the power trowels. It's a cloudy day, but as you can see, blue skies are coming in here. It's probably, I don't know, 11 o'clock at this point, 10:30, 11, and the sun's starting to peek out. Once that sun starts hitting this concrete, it really dries quick, and you really need to get after it with those trowels and work it in. You see my dad and Herb over there putting the anchor bolts in. I was keeping screed boards wet and cleaned and talking to the concrete trucks, directing them. Angel and little Grayson over there, he's probably up to no good, causing trouble. Matt back on the bull float, getting that all touched up before he hits it with the power trowel. Fast forward through this a little bit of a wait here. It's probably like a 10-minute wait, 15-minute wait between trucks. That's critical when you're pouring concrete. You do not want to be waiting in between trucks. That could become a weak point in your slab, folks. So you want to make sure that concrete's really wet and it's mixed good. This little green section here, that's 1-inch foam, not 2-inch. I want a little thicker slab in here. Plus, I was really going to slope this to that floor drain. So that's why I elected to go with 1-inch in there. Plus, there's also a lot of penetrations, and it's just easier to get it in there. So they're pouring around this first, and then you're going to see them just hand work this area around that drain. That's about 1.5 inches low from finished floor, and the room isn't very big. It's probably 8 to 10 foot wide, so that's a pretty good slope bowl around that drain. The idea of that is if anything ever broke in the mechanical space where all my utilities are, it would never flood the house. So hopefully it works. Turned out really good. Tom there in the black, he ended up finishing that out once they got it screeded off, and turned out pretty good. You're going to see them here fill this in. We'll screed this corner off a little bit. Timmy will bring the power screed down through. Just setting the grade on that, guys, and then see that's about the width of that power screed. Here he comes with it. He's going to go this way, and he's going to turn and go the other way. guy is good on that thing. It takes a lot of practice, patience, but you also got to be moving quickly. You don't have a lot of time. You don't want to be playing around with this stuff. It'll end up making it worse. So you got to get it in place and flatten it out quick. You're just working around that shower form. I didn't really have the shower planned out with the drain and everything, so that's why I formed that off. Didn't have him pour that in there. I'm going to figure out how to get a nice Schluter linear drain in there and do some nice ceramic tile, custom shower. I haven't really figured that out yet, so that's why I didn't pour that. But there again, they pour it right down the middle to get the elevation all set. Tom there with the laser, and then they'll screed her off. Everything went really smooth. There's the sun coming out. Really going to start baking this section over here. That's been sitting there for a couple hours, so you don't have long. This is 56 yards of concrete, and I don't know, 17 to 19 yards went in just the haunch. So that's a lot of concrete. It's going to take a long time to cure that haunch. It's about 24 inches deep, 20 to 24 inches deep, and on a kind of on a triangular shape. It's about 16 inches back. So there's Tim. He's just starting to get on that power trowel. They'll end up working all that in and just make a couple passes over it. He's got float pads which help level it, and then the other guy over here, Matt, he'll bring the other trowel out with the finishing blades and get after it with that to put the finish on it. That's pretty much it though. So went good, and pretty happy with how everything turned out. Again, it was a lot of work, and couldn't ask for a better day though. 70 degrees and cloudy, no sun is a big deal when pouring concrete, as far as I know. I haven't done a lot of this. I've seen it done commercially and a little bit of residential, nothing this size or scale. So this scale is for residential. It's pretty big time here. Typically you see a footer poured. That ain't a big deal because you bury it. You don't really care what it looks like. You hand finish it. Basement slabs, most people don't even spend the time power trowel them. They hand finish them, and this has to be pretty good because this is my finished floor of the house here. So this is 2 foot out of the ground, and I'm going to be probably 4 to 6 inches below the finished floor with the topsoil all the way around this thing. So I'm going to be working this back bank, bringing some of this fill material down in there. This big topsoil pile here, that'll eventually get shoved around the house. And this silt, this is right where my water line went. And right behind that topsoil pile is that spring, which is in that prior video. It's pretty cool. It's a big 1,200 gallon cistern. It's spring fed, and I got a 1-inch line. I'll have a submersible pump set up out there. More videos to come on that. Haven't had any time to finish that, but I'm going to get after that soon. Definitely need to get that done before too long, backfilled and working, so we can have that before wintertime. So this has been a great learning experience. Again, the most critical part is to drive these stakes home. I mean, drive them home, because that is a lot of force, that concrete. It will push that form if you're not careful. And we had a flash flood the night before, and it didn't help that everything was soft up here. If it was dry, like it typically is in August in New York, I don't think it would have done that. But, the other thing you can do is just what I started scrambling with the Bobcat, dumping this gravel here. Get that right up almost to the top of the form, and that form can't move. Only problem doing that before concrete's there is it could potentially shove the form in, which could throw you off, your squareness of the house or something. So it's kind of a battle. You gotta pick the battle. What's more important? But anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good night. If I can figure out how to shut this thing off, we'll do another video. Okay, thanks everyone.